And the fuel savings isn't that much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just playing around. So that's all the way up here. And then we get the down pressure. That's off and back on, so you can see it picking up the truck a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. So you ready to get started?
Yeah.
All right. So the power's in the middle of the controller here. So you're just gonna push and hold a couple seconds.
Camera too. Yeah. Yeah.
Couple seconds turns it on, and it's all backlit when you're on. Now by default, up is towards you on this joystick, so you're flying an airplane.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
pulling down is up.
Yeah.
I can change that, so it's confusing to some people. The thing is, most joysticks are like this. Like a lot of equipment, like excavators, bobcats, that kind of thing, joysticks are always pulling up towards you.
Yeah.
But some folks, some of the older plows, up was up and down was down.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I can easily change this.
That's okay. That works for us. We forget. Yeah. Yeah.
If you were to push and hold the down pressure button for 10 full seconds, it's
Yeah.
going to reverse that up and down.
Okay.
So just keep that in mind if you were to happen to do that accidentally or anything. But if you wanted to switch that up and down direction, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
Push and hold the down pressure button for 10 full seconds, and that reverses the up and down.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So it's up is towards you, down away from you, and you touch down once, it's headed all the way down. One quick tap, she's coming all the way down.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
And that's normally how you're plowing. When you hit down, you're normally ready to go down.
Yeah.
But if you're not, if you hit down and oops, I didn't mean to, you can hit up pretty quickly and you can stop it off the ground, not hurting anything doing that.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Of course, left is left and right is right. You can certainly move a little bit. You just click it. You can certainly move while you're on the ground.
So you actually, I wondered about that. So you can. Do you normally? What do you recommend? Do you normally?
Depends what you're doing. You know, you're directing the snow where you want it to go. So it just makes a racket on the dry pavement. That's the only reason you don't want to do it.
Gotcha.
But if you're going around corners or trying to push the snow onto this side or that side, you can absolutely angle the blade while you're moving, while you're plowing.
Yeah.
Now it brings up one point is it will give out on you if you're, say, like a lot of people experience it with a long driveway where you're trying to plow left, big heavy wet storm, it may kick over to the right eventually, or vice versa. There's a relief valve in there to protect it from harming itself if you're pushing too hard.
Okay.
But it is adjustable, so sometimes we get that foot of heavy wet stuff and it's a hard push. You're gonna notice it start kicking over. Go right back to plowing. You do what you want it to do. You don't have to necessarily lighten up so much unless you're really smashing. You know, we always want to avoid smashing and picking up speed and that kind of thing. But as long as you're at a fairly slow speed and that kicks over, you've done no harm. You can go right back to plowing and put the blade right back to where you want it to go.
Yeah.
Keep in mind it is adjustable. So if you get that, the first couple storms that are real heavy, it might kick over too easily for your liking.
Yeah.
Swing down, I'll be happy to adjust it for you.
Cool.
It's very fine tuned though. It's if you get in there, it's the valve that's unlike any other. It's called the angle relief or crossover relief. They stamp in the block XRV, so they can indicate that valve.
Yep.
So if you get in there, the top cap of that valve comes off, and it's an Allen set screw, and you would turn that righty to increase the pressure, make it more difficult to kick over. They should be very, very close. So most people are not tuning that, but if it's too easily for your liking, we can certainly tune that up. Down pressure as well. Basically 10 years down the road, it may continuously click, like click, 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 while it's just sitting here. We can turn that up as well. It should just click once or twice and then stop. It should not continuously click. All right? So up, down, left, and right on the joystick. There's a bunch of buttons on here you're not going to be using. The whole top row here for a tailgate sander, a spreader.
Okay.
A little sand salt spreader. So you can press all those. You're not going to do anything with those. The wings are on the outside. The plow doesn't have wings. Some of the bigger plows have hydraulic wings.
Gotcha.
You're working those with those buttons. We can use A, B, and C if you want. They're like programs, memory, like a memory seat almost in your truck. A lot of guys will do A to the left, C to the right, just because they're on that side of the controller, and then B, their driving position, about halfway up. You don't want to bring the blade all the way up, especially on the highway. you're blocking the air going to the grill. You could possibly overheat the engine. So all the way up, that air really jumps right up and over and starves the engine from cooling. So we say about 6-8 inches or so, about halfway, and that gets a nice airflow of the grill as much as you can. So I can program a B button to do just that, about halfway up. And you can program these buttons to do anything you want. Some folks have a dirt driveway and they want it to come up just an inch or so to not dig in on their mushy dirt. So they'll program a button to come up just a little bit. So you're saying yes?
Yeah. Do that because we have for both those things we could use actually because we do have a dirt
and the halfway seam,
and
then with the straight blade left and right works well on the joystick anyway. So all right, I'll show you how to program. Pretty simple. I'll do that B driving position first. So you push and hold the button you want to program. You just push and hold a couple seconds. Then it flashes at you twice and it's waiting for you to do what you want it to do. So you just come up about halfway and you hit that B button again to lock it in. So that one's programmed. So every time it's all the way down, you hit that B button, it'll come up that same height. So all done plowing, you're hitting the road, you can hit that B button and you'll be at consistent height. You can reprogram on top of that just as easily. You do the same thing, push and hold and do another function and then press the button again and it'll lock it in. So you can tune the height of that if you want by how long you're holding the button while you're programming. So the inch up is a little bit more of a trick because it's so quick. But I'm going to push and hold that A button and now we'll come up about an inch or so and hit it again to lock it in. And then depending on your driveway and how inconsistent or whatever, depending on how high you'll bring that. And again, you can reprogram that a little bit more if you want to bring it up a little bit more. The other thing you can do is press it a second time, come up a little bit more, but that might be too much at that point.
Gotcha.
But you can play with that timing.
On dirt, do people do stuff more typically like forwards or backwards, or do you drag it or push it? Or?
Both ways. So if it's a real long driveway, they'll be pushing. A short driveway, you might back drag to get it flatter. I do have folks that will use down pressure and back drag their mushy driveway to flatten it out nicely. Because back dragging, just because of the angle of the cutting edge there, it creates a smoother finish when you're pulling back. Having the blade going this way, of course, it scrapes more. So use that to your advantage. If you're got paved, driven over, rained over, icy stuff, you're going to use that down pressure and scrape it right up. Say you get the garage door, you don't want to push the snow into the door, of course. So a lot of times what you do is you'll have down pressure on, coming up to your garage door with blade down pressure, scraping as much as you can. And then before you get into your garage, sometimes you get the door open if you want to get as close as you dare without hitting it. But you'll scrape with the blade down all the way to the garage door. You'll pick up the blade, drive over all that snow you missed, and then back drag it away from your garage. And then you can push it off somewhere else if you need to. So yeah, it will scrape better going forward, but absolutely you can use it going backward, scraping backward.
Are you more typical to use the down pressure, dragging it back, or going forward? Do you
use it just as needed. So if it's light and fluffy, it's scraping up easily. You won't use the down pressure at all. It'll just be no down pressure, just float mode we call it. And it's just sitting there by its own weight. It's not pushing any force down. So the light fluffy stuff scrapes right up. You don't need it. The driven over, iced over stuff, it's tough to scrape up. So you use it going forward. Or back dragging. So you can absolutely use the down pressure forward, backward, wherever you need it. Some guys will avoid using it while plowing and then use the down pressure just the last cleanup passes, the last scraping passes. Keep in mind you will eat up the cutting edge a little bit faster if you're pushing down on that blade a few 100 pounds. Most people doing their own driveway are not complaining that they're eating up the cutting edge faster than they like. Most of my homeowners are going 5, even 10 years, some of them, before replacing the cutting edge. So don't worry about using a cutting edge that much. What's nice about the down pressure is it'll stay on. So if you're using it, the orange light's on, and you're plowing along, you go up and then down again. The down pressure is still on until you shut it back off.
Gotcha.
So keep that in mind too, because you don't feel it as much in the truck. You're really looking for the light more so. So that's that. So that's pretty much the basic functions. Want
Great.
to play around a little bit before we move on?
You can try it.
We do it.
You try
Go ahead,
it.
try
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Come
Try
on,
it.
come on.
Try it.
Go ahead, try it. But do be careful. Try not to be
Okay.
sticking this in the coat pockets while you're hooking it up and all.
Yeah.
So just pull the whole thing like a joystick towards
Oh,
you.
okay.
Yeah. You got it.
Goes all the way up.
You'll find it's pretty sensitive right
Yep.
off, right?
Yep.
And then left and right.
Okay. Oops, I should
got
put
it.
up.
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll absolutely get in the groove. You know,
Yeah.
everything's gonna be real slow at first. Drive, plow down,
Yeah.
forward. All right, plow up, first.
Yep.
Everything's gonna be real slow, but you'll get in the groove.
Nice.
We'll talk about like mounting the controller maybe. Some folks like to mount it, some like it in and out of the lap.
Yeah.
Whatever you like. So it's just tough when you're on the outside of the truck because you're looking at it backwards, right?
Yeah.
So if you're on this side of the blade, left is left and right is right.
Yep.
When you're on the outside of the truck here, it forces you to think backwards. Yeah, and they're very fast. That's the first thing people say is like, oh God, it's fast, you know?
Yeah,
It does
so
make
automatic
One quick tap.
responds
It
like
does slow
that.
down a little bit in the winter because the fluid thickens up slightly.
And it's colder.
But it does
Yeah.
warm back up after using it a bit.
Cool. Okay.
Cool?
That's
Yeah.
cool. Totally cool. Yeah.
All right, so we'll move on, taking it off, put it back on again.
Okay.
So I like it like front and center, just squared up.
Yeah.
So again, be careful with this remote. You don't want to hurt yourself.
Yeah.
You don't want to stick it in the coat pocket or you're tempted to put it up on the hood, slide off and small and whatnot.
Yeah.
Just be careful with it. We're going to have it on anyway to take the plow off and on. So we're going to have it on. So, just be careful.
You know what's up.
Yeah, we're going to have it on anyway. So, what works for me, a lot of people is just stick the tape. Right? We have a little holder inside, and some folks have mounted that to the back of the headlight with one of the screws over here. And now they have a place to put it. Fortunately, I wish they had. The older controller had just a little nub here. You could put a lanyard on it. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Brilliant. It's great to have it on the lanyard and just throw it around your neck. Just be careful with it because this thing works on 3,000 pounds of hydraulic pressure, so it'll hurt you. If your
Watch
leg
your
is,
toes.
if your leg's in here, and this thing's in your pocket, you're in trouble. So
Yeah.
respect it. It'll hurt you. So we got 3 plugs. One for each headlight. Alright? And then the big main power. So taking the plow off, we'll disconnect the lights first. You put a black button here.
Oh, yeah.
Push it with your thumb and you pull them apart after that.
Yeah.
Both sides here. Same thing, push the black button. Pull them apart. Now the trick here is you gotta plug these back into each other on your truck side. If you forget this, the headlights will not work at all. The high beam and low beam will be out. So I don't blame you if you want to get your hands back here and put it behind the license plate.
Gotcha.
But yes, you have to plug these back into each other to return your truck lights to normal. And they're automatic when you plug them into the plow. So when you're plugged in the plow, the truck lights will be off, but you'll have high beam and low beam up on the plow. And you'll use the same switch you always have in the truck. Even if it's got automatic lights, and it still works.
So it's
like
either
that.
or, basically, Carl, is the way it works.
Yeah.
And this actually has a high beam as well as
High beam and low beam.
Okay.
Yep.
And if you got to replace these things, they're pretty standard.
They are standard bulb. Yeah, I believe it's an H1. They're all over the place. Yep.
Is it literally just a goofy question? Not that it's going to happen
No.
the first week, but
It's actually on the back side.
It's on the back side.
Yeah,
so
one single screw,
Yep.
and then it's got a gasket in there, so it sticks pretty good actually.
Yeah.
So you take the
Yeah.
screw out, and I find like a small screwdriver or like a little pit tool, and get in the hole where the screw was, and you find you have to pull the little cover off. Once you're in there, it's pretty simple.
Great.
You can get at the boat.
We'll give you a call.
Yes, bring them. We can
Yeah,
release
yeah.
socket plug. I like to keep these light side plugs plugged into each other also.
Okay.
They just don't always reach, so they're just an inch away from each other.
Yeah.
You squeeze these one of these little tabs on just one side,
Yeah.
and now I got enough slack to plug them into each other.
Yeah.
Just keeps the
Okay.
crowd nice out of it.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Right.
There's Dylan, the class clown. So that leaves the power on for now.
Yeah.
So we can still work the whole plow. The lights just for the lights.
So when you drive, if you're driving typically, down the road to go to you leave it all connected, or you disconnect, or you can drive with these legally and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
on the-
So I hear they're a real pain in the butt about, and in Massachusetts, if the plow is on the truck, the plow lights better be on and working.
Gotcha.
They'll pull you over if not.
Yeah.
So you always want to have them plugged in if the plow's on,
Yeah.
and vice versa. When the plow's off, they want the truck lights working.
Yeah.
A lot of the older plows, the headlights actually stayed on the truck when the plow was off.
Yeah.
All the new plows now, the whole thing's coming
The
off.
fixture comes
Yeah.
off. Okay.
And because I don't know if it's just Mass, that's a real pain in the butt about that law, but I think that's how it's going.
And as far as like the orange hazard light, we got one of the things that just magnet you stick on and
To
stuff
the roof,
like
that might be a problem if this thing is aluminum.
It's only when you use it though. It's only when
A
you're.
lot of guys get away
you-
with the four ways, your own driveway.
Yeah.
As long as it's not an overly busy road,
Gotcha.
the four-way flashers are just fine.
Oh, the flash. So the flasher also works on this thing. I hadn't
yeah.
thought of that. But
Yep.
if you hit the flashers,
You hit
that's
the four-way
another way.
flashers; those are quite visible to a lot of
Yeah.
people too.
Yeah.
The magnetic lights have been a problem on the Ford 150s. Are aluminum bodies; they don't stick.
That's interesting. Yeah.
I've had people do double-side tape of like a steel plate
Yeah.
to the roof. Now
Yeah.
you can stick it to that,
Yeah.
or hard mounting it. Do you have a ladder bar or anything? No, we don't have. There's folks with like ladder bars are mounted to those, but four-way flashers work for a lot of people.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah, they're usually just fine, unless you're doing commercial plowing in a parking lot. Those guys will do a strobe light.
Yeah.
So coming off here, we're leaving
Yeah.
leaving the power on for now. Next is this kickstand foot here. You just got two pins, and they work like the big handles kind of, but they just come in and out like so. So this one down here is holding it upward. We're going to pull that one out and then slide it straight down. And they're spring loaded, so I just normally flip the little handle and just move the kickstand around and it finds the little hole on its own. So now that kickstand is locked down. I do recommend a block of wood if you can fit it. Our pavement here is a little bit humped right where the foot is, but if you use the down pressure, you get a little bit more space under there. So I recommend like a piece of plywood, like a ½ inch, something about 10 inches wide or so. Like it gives you a pad.
Yeah.
For many reasons, it keeps it from sinking in the pavement.
Yeah.
Even in the summer months, it gets warm, it'll start sinking. In the dirt, if that's where you're parking, of course it'll sink in the dirt, get frozen to the ground. The wood helps a little bit for that. It also helps slide around a little bit. When we go back on, you'll see we move it left and right, so it helps that foot slide around. Also gives you some extra height. Say you drop your plow and now your truck's on some fresh snow, you're a couple inches higher than where you left your plow. The plow's got the ability to go up, but not quite so high. If we get a few inches of snow there, we might not be able to get that high. So the block of wood really helps you get to that height if you need it. Alright, so you throw your block of wood out. We're not going to need it to get off, but that's what you do. You just take your block of wood and you would toss it under here.
Okay.
Alright?
Yeah.
But next is we're going to pull these handles out.
Just wash your feet.
Grab it and pull. Just watch your head. The light bar sometimes can come down on you. Actually, I got the down pressure on, so that's going to be hard for you. So I had the down pressure on. It makes it more difficult to pull the pins out. With down pressure off, you get much easier to pull. Okay. So you pulled it out. Yep, just like that. Next, we're gonna use the up button to pull it right off the truck. So don't forget, up is towards you, kind of down on this joystick. But using the up function, we're gonna just kind of tap that as slow as you want. And as we do that, the light bar is coming forward, but the foot's coming down at the same time. So we look at the gold pin on the side here, and we just kind of tap that up button. So up. You see that pin is lifted out of that U-shaped cradle.
Yeah.
And once that gold pin is up and out of that U-shape, you're good.
Yeah.
That's really it. That's all. So you just disconnect your power. These are just dust caps for these little guys, Just disconnect that, and then these are just dust caps to protect them, and you can shove the plugs back in there. Alright, so now you can back the truck away, or we'll just pull it away.
So you can pull it away. Actually.
Yeah, I mean, they're not too heavy. I mean, in the snow, of course, it's a little more difficult.
Okay.
But, it can be done. So watch out for this beam now. You get this beam stuck to the front of the truck, and that's the lowest, most forward thing in the truck now, right? So watch out for like the curbing stones at the Home Depot and the grocery stores and whatnot. Some of them can touch them,
Yeah.
I've seen a few folks bend the little ears in the bottom there, and it's usually not horrible. It's a little bit tweaked.
But for the most part, you're above speed bumps or.
Yeah, for the most part you are. just keep in mind, just try not to overhang those things,
Yeah.
It usually, I've never seen one destroyed by
Yeah.
like that. Put a little heat to it in the back, a little spray paint, never happened.
Yeah.
But just keep in mind, you don't, the first time you hit that, you're like, oh God, you go right to the windshield, it's like,
Yeah.
takes you for a surprise.
So when you hit a curb with this, does it fold over? Does it kind of collapse?
Absolutely.
Is that the first thing that it
Yeah,
tries
a lot of safety features going on here. So yeah, the trip mechanism hinges here with the big spring, so the whole blade rolls over.
Okay.
When you hit something, so you can hit something that tall and have it still roll over. A lot of the old Fisher plows and whatnot have the trip edge, we call it, and just the yellow part trips over. They can be real aggressive. They snap real hard.
Yeah.
A lot of the old Fishers hanging from a chain.
Yeah.
So when they snap that, they also loosen the chain. The blade's bouncing off the ground. So you snag that manhole cover, wham! The blade goes backwards.
Gotcha.
The blade goes upwards also. You go, oh God, what was that?
Yeah.
And then it's slamming back down, and that thing is going backwards too. So it's a god awful noise when all that happens. They've lightened it up. You have a rubber block in here. This bolt's holding a big rubber block that's in here.
Okay.
So that dampens the noise when it comes back, so you hardly even hear it.
Yeah. So it does. You hit a manhole cover. It just you keep going. It snaps back.
Yeah, it's real smooth. The blade rolls over.
Yeah.
Because of the no chain, the piston setup, the blade doesn't bounce off the ground and like that.
Yeah.
So as long as it's below that, the blade just kind of rolls over, it snaps back,
Gotcha.
and you keep on going.
Yeah.
Unless you have a real big hump or maybe like a sharp, maybe like another layer of pavement or something like that, where there's a stair step, that might actually stop your vehicle.
Gotcha.
Then you would have to pick up the blade and get up over that aggressive hump. But normally the things aren't like that. Usually you're around things over, so you shouldn't have that kind of thing going on. But yeah, that is also adjustable. So we get them right where they pretty much suggest is they want 15 thousandths of space, basically just pulled open a little bit.
Yep.
But if that blade is rolling over too much for your liking, we can tighten it up a
Adjust
little
it,
bit.
okay.
Yeah, plenty
Good
of
to know.
adjustment there. And just 2 threads on both sides makes a big difference. So if you'd want to tighten them up, you'd bring them upward. So bring the nuts upward to pull that spring backward now.
Which would make it less frequent, less tippy.
Yeah, it's stiffen it up. And like I said, a couple turns on each side make a pretty good difference.
What are these frame sections for? Is it just for
For the
shipping or
shoes?
storage?
No, the plow feet, we call them, or shoes. They're like just hunks of steel that prevent load on the cutting edge.
Yeah.
So
They
used to be included. That's one way they save the weight.
Interesting.
They don't include them. So now they're most of my customers don't get them.
Yeah.
The plow scrapes better without them.
Yeah.
The people that do like them, they own gas stations and Dunkin' Donuts. They go round and round and round and round, and they just eat up their cutting edge fast before they want to buy a cutting edge. They're eating it up.
Gotcha. Okay.
So the shoes, they just take a little load off the cutting edge. They should touch the same time as the cutting edge.
Yeah.
A lot of people like them. A lot of the older, especially the Fishers, again, they like them for dirt driveway. They'll put those shoes down further to put the cutting edge off the ground a little bit. So they can put that blade right down, and it's still not even touching the ground. So they'll do that for dirt driveways, so they're not digging in so badly earlier.
But here you've got better control because of the
no chains.
offset.
Right, no chains, and you can pick up the blade a little bit on your dirt if you have to, if you're not digging it. So if you are digging it, rather. So we get the down pressure we want to scrape up real nice. You want to use less sand salt. If you're doing commercial plowing, those are the guys that normally do the shoes. Most of my homeowners will go 5-10 years on a cutting edge with no shoes. So you're gonna scrape a lot better without them. A little bit less weight. If you're concerned about weight, they're like 15 pounds a piece. But they're really designed to preserve the cutting edge. So the guys that are putting them down too low, what I feel is earlier late season when the ground's mushy, you probably put 2 grooves where those shoes are rubbing, right, in your mushy dirt. And you're probably digging in on the end of your push anyway because it's kind of sunken in by them, right? So I feel you're picking up the blade probably at the end of the push anyway to get up and over the grass and that kind of thing. They're pretty expensive through Snowway too. They're like $70 each. So you're buying a cutting edge with some wing plows with 3 pieces. So those folks are buying the 3-piece cutting edge and 2 shoes, getting pretty expensive. You measure that hole, I believe it's 15/16. You go on Amazon, get your plow feet, you can get them for a half price. When they were included, we were telling people to take them off and use them for boat anchors.
You don't really need it. That's interesting.
Really?
Yeah.
So definitely try it without it. We do have a dirt driveway.
Yeah. It's kind of
Like a secondary
It's
driveway?
hard path, but it's not asphalt.
Right.
So it's prepared.
It's fairly flat.
It's really flat.
Yeah. So
It's very good.
just early or late season, it's going to be soft. You don't want to push all your material to the end of the driveway. So you'll want to pick up the blade a little bit, plow the majority of your snow, and then it'll freeze. Within a few storms, it'll freeze solid. And then you can put the blade right down, and maybe even down pressure to scrape it as good as you can, so it's not so slippery. And also, don't forget down pressure. If it's uneven and getting bumpy or whatever, you can certainly back drag it, flatten it out. So yeah, cool. So back on.
Any tips for going back? So how do you line it up so
there's
that
a
you
few
get the best chance of actually?
So we can run the plow outside. So I'll show you. You can go left and right with it. But initially, a lot of guys will do like a body line.
Yeah.
So if you can, also helpful to put your head like in the middle of the truck while you're driving forward. And then you can aim for the middle of the plow,
center.
right?
Okay. Yeah.
Or some folks will do like a body line on the hood.
Yeah.
Line up close to this bolt kind of thing.
Gotcha. Okay.
I've seen some people put the red tape there or something like that. Too.
Yeah, some marker.
It helps you a little bit. Whatever you're gonna do.
Yeah.
After you do it a dozen times, you will get better at it.
Yeah.
But you don't have to be dead nuts.
Yeah.
So you drive up close until you just bump the plow. Just drive up slow.
Yeah.
You can feel it.
Yeah.
And then you'll plug in the power cord. This is male, female. You can't fall. Plug these into each other.
Oh yeah. So
Nice free in there. And then I like to stand in front and center here.
yeah.
Grab your remote and use the remote as much as you can to help you out. Try not to muscle around the plow. So up is up, and it's all the way up there. If we had a block of wood, we could get a little bit higher.
Yeah.
After hitting down, it puts it in float mode, which normally just drops the blade, right? And what that lets you do is push or pull this light bar, and the back end's going down, or we could pull it towards us, and the back end goes back up.
Is that did you say float mode? So that's not when pressure. So it's not when the pressure's down.
Correct. No down pressure.
So down
just,
pressure, you can actually do it. Okay.
Yeah, it'll go both ways, both up and down.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It just won't stay put.
Yeah.
It'll kind of, if you let go, it kind of just creeps.
Kind of
After just tapping up quickly, it'll be locked again.
Yeah.
So this is just to adjust the height if you need to, right?
Yeah.
So up is up, down, puts in that float mode, and you can manually go down if you want.
Okay, so you have to hit down before it goes into the float mode. So that's how you get into
Correct.
the float mode.
Yeah. After hitting up, it's now locked.
Gotcha.
No longer in float mode, and you can't push on it.
Thanks.
Yeah. After hitting down, you hear a small click underneath the hood
Yeah.
here, and then that valve is now open, and you can push or pull. And then when you want it to stay put, just tap the up button real quick, and now it's going to stay put.
Okay. Yeah.
And also left and right. When the blade stays put here, you go left and right, and aim it to the truck.
Okay,
So even if you were off a few
Yeah,
inches,
yeah.
you don't have, don't get too worried about it.
Gotcha.
So we could either bring the truck forward here, or normally I give them a little scooch with my knees on the back of the front of the blade here. Kind of work well.
So you literally you slide it in.
I scooch them in, but I mean, if you got a bad back, I can imagine you might not do that.
Yeah.
It might be easier to just pull the truck forward.
Yeah, no, that's good.
I understand.
I like the technique. Yeah. I like the technique.
But we got to get that gold-colored pin landed back in the bottom of that U shape.
The gold-colored pin, and that's this thing right
Lower
here.
one, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So we got to get this pin landed back in the U shape.
Okay, so that's what you're looking to line up.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I'm above them more or less, but
Yeah.
not down in them, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to hit down at this point, put it in that float mode, and then push on this light bar. And then I'm a little ways away still.
Sure.
I can, by standing here, I can see the back of the blade and the front of the truck, and we're not quite parallel, right?
Yeah.
So I can use a little left and right to get myself out here.
Yeah.
I see I got to switch in maybe a little bit.
There you go.
So now,
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
so now
Yeah.
I have hit down and I'm pushing on this light bar,
Yeah.
and it actually settled right down in it.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh,
It went down too easy.
yeah.
You undo this, misalign it some more here,
Yeah.
and hit down again, start pushing this light bar, and now I can kind of tell.
Yeah.
I'm pushing this light bar. The foot's come off the ground. But I'm not down in there yet.
That's not in there.
Yeah, right. It's kind of cockeyed. I can see
Yeah,
it's not quite down there. I can use a little left and right. I'm
Fell in
pushing on
there.
that light bar, right,
Yeah.
and you can see it settle
Cool.
down in there.
Yeah.
Cool.
And you can kind of tell the blade starts pivoting
Yeah.
versus the butt end.
Yeah.
We drop down in that U shape, right?
Yeah.
So
I was
now,
just doing side by side, side to side.
just left and right, yeah. Just putting
left and
just a
right.
little pressure on the light bar. I'm not pushing real hard.
Yeah.
And then when
Till it
when the
falls
foot's
in.
come off the ground, now the back end's kind of just sitting there,
Yeah.
waiting for it to drop down.
Yeah.
And then you go left and right, and she settles down. And you can pick this back up if you want.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, settle it down.
Cool.
That's where it needs to be, right in the bottom of that U shape. You can tell the blade starts pivoting.
Yeah.
All right. Now, next step. I can either push this all the way up to get my handles to go in.
Yeah.
I want to show you this cool trick.
Okay.
Once you're confident you've landed those pins down in there,
Yeah.
you can do the down pressure. Down, down pressure. And
Very interesting.
And it pushes it up and holds
Yeah,
it there.
yeah.
So now you can run around, drop my handles down.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, they don't always go in.
Yeah.
Exactly like both of them didn't go in.
Okay.
So we flop the handle down. Perfect. Go ahead, flip it to the front. Yeah, and now we got all the slop in the middle here.
Yeah.
So because we got this down pressure holding that light bar on us,
Yeah.
for us, it's misaligned the whole just ever so slightly. So usually just pick the down pressure
Wow.
or pick up the blade
Okay,
a
that's
little
cool.
bit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
well, bam, they go in by themselves. They're
Yeah.
spring loaded.
Yeah.
I just want you to realize that that pin's not in all the way.
Yeah, that's good to know. Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You see it, right?
Yeah.
And just work the plow around a little bit,
Yeah.
and they usually go right in.
So when it's like, I mean, you're locked in now.
You're locked in.
You're locked in.
Now it's deceiving. The pin does not come all the way through the hole there. That pin is all the way in.
It is?
Yeah. As well as this one. That handle's up against there's a little plastic shim here. See that
Yeah.
little? So that handle's up against, but yeah, if you look on the opposite side, it's the same idea.
Yeah.
It's about a quarter of an inch from protruding through that hole. By design.
Gotcha.
I know. Like, why? Why do they do that? I
Can't
made that
tell.
phone call many, many years ago.
Yeah.
So why does that pin not come through that hole? It looks like it should. It would be stronger if it did. I believe they didn't want to tell me exactly. They like kind of like bounced around the bush. They telling me about crash testing. They want it to fail in this area, I believe, before it rips off the frame of the truck.
Gotcha.
So I think initially they designed it for that pin to go all the way through,
Yeah.
and they must have shortened the pin, finding it too strong.
That's interesting.
And they might leave it there to drill a hole in the factory. I don't know.
Yeah.
But by design, as long as that handle's up against it, we're good. And they work so butter smooth, but when the plow's off the ground, they got a lot of load on it.
Gotcha,
So
gotcha.
much more
Yeah.
difficult. I don't see them falling out on their own.
And then do you have to reconnect the lights?
Of course, but
Yeah.
last but not least,
Oh yeah.
the damn foot.
Yeah, the foot.
Everyone
the foot.
forgets.
Yeah.
Everyone
Yeah.
forgets. I still
Yeah.
do it after 16 years of putting these things on. I still do it every once in a while. At least it's yellow now. It used to be black.
Gotcha.
As long as the rest
It's
of the
all
plow,
one
so
color.
you just
Yeah.
completely forgot about it. But yeah, you're all hooked up. Your pins are in. That's all you're worried about. You forget about the damn foot. So don't forget. You just lift up that, and I just flick the little handles down and just move it around a little bit, and she finds home. It does have a slight front grip.
When you drop them down, Carl, do you flip both of them, or does it? is it
No,
only
they're just
the top?
single
It's-
use. So
Yeah.
one for up, one for down.
Yeah.
So you just care about that one position.
Gotcha. So it's the top
So
one.
you can play with it. It doesn't
That
matter.
doesn't do anything. Okay. So you move it up,
Slide it up.
and again, the purpose of that is so when it's on the ground, it holds the thing.
Yeah, when you back the truck
Off-
away, it
off
holds the
the
butt end of the plow up off the ground.
Gotcha.
It won't come off if you don't put the foot down. The foot's picking it off the truck also.
Gotcha.
You use that up button.
Yeah.
So you gotta lift that foot up.
Gotta lift that foot.
You got to put it down
And you
before
gotta
taking
put it
it.
down,
Down and
So I can show you when you don't put it down and you hit up. The light bar just goes forward and it never picks it off the truck. You'll back up and it might stay stuck to the truck here.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah.
So it's just where they put it. They put it in a really cool position that works well with that up and down. After putting that kickstand down, it starts to lift it off the truck. Now, so I've taken it off again here, and I want to show you where really the only time you can get in trouble if you leave the down pressure on. If I hit down right now, the the down pressure activates and goes, and it wants to keep going until it stops when it gets to 250 pounds of pressure. If I don't land those pins in those U-shapes perfectly, the light bar can keep going closer and closer to the truck, and maybe even hit the truck.
Yeah.
So that's why I say no down pressure, just in float mode. Now it doesn't do anything crazy. I want to demonstrate this down pressure deal. With down pressure on, and hit down, the light bar keeps going and going, and see, now we're in trouble here.
Yeah.
You know? So now I'm completely messed up.
Yeah.
And you can see the light bar is actually gotten a little closer to the truck.
It wants to keep going.
You know, if we were even a little bit closer, we would have hit the grill.
Yeah.
You gotta be ready to stop it with the up button. So if you hit down pressure on, you hit down, here it goes. I stop it with the up button before it does anything crazy.
Gotcha.
But you gotta be ready for it, you know? So that's why no down pressure, especially when you're first cutting out.
Yeah.
You can manually adjust his height, like so. Aim that if you have to. Give it a little shove. Aim it again, you know.
Yeah.
One more little shove. Now we're above them, right?
Gosh, that's great. Yeah.
And then no down pressure, just down. Nothing crazy happens with no down pressure.
Yeah.
You can manually drop that down into that U shape. Went down in there perfectly, but use a little left and right to make sure it settles down in that U shape. And then once you're confident you've landed those pins in, you're okay to do that little down pressure turn. And you don't have to worry about it coming to the truck. It just goes and stops on its own. And you can flip your handles down. Just keep in mind they don't always go in. You can even pick up the plow a little bit, same thing. Either remove the down pressure or pick up the plow. One quick little, as soon as it lines up, wham, they go in.
So what was it? Was that a down pressure or was that a lift the plow?
I lifted the plow.
Lifted the plow.
Yeah, it's just a matter of
Yeah.
realigning that pin.
Yeah.
After down pressure, it's just there's some pressure there. It just ever slightly misaligns the pin, and all we got to do is close this gap here, and that usually is just remove the down pressure or pick up the plow a little bit, and it does
And do
the
they
same
pretty much
action.
always snap like that before when they lock in?
Yeah, even when they neglect them or to grease them and all that,
Yeah.
they do.
So that's a good indication that you've got a good lock on them.
Yeah.
Is what I'm wondering.
Yeah, we're hearing the noise. You always want to do it visually, make sure that pin is
Yeah.
on the way. But yeah, even when neglected and they're not working so smoothly, they're actually the most finicky today because there's paint in these holes, and that makes it a little bit tighter, the tolerance. When they're dry and clean, they work terrifically.
Yeah.
What can happen is even they get a little bit rusty, or what can happen too is we get a bunch of grease on them and like a bunch of dirt gets stuck to the grease. And then they can start to become a little notchy. But yeah, normally they slide right in. Wham! But yeah, don't forget the damn kickstand.
Yeah, the kickstand.
That damn kickstand, everyone tends to forget. Like I said, I do it still. And then Dylan makes fun of me. And then the lights. So the trick here with the lights is the flaps on top. No flaps on the bottom.
Yeah.
Flaps on top with the button side.
So when you're driving, as long as the plow's on, you're using these lights. On the road between
Yeah.
here and where.
Yeah, and you may not like them. I mean, they're not quite as great as the truck's lights. But if you keep them aimed in the right direction, they're alright.
Yep.
Try to shut this damn thing off while you're driving around.
Cool.
Don't forget that.
Yeah, and that's just you push the button and it.
Push and hold.
Yeah,
A couple seconds and it's off.
Yeah.
And reaching for your
You probably
coffee
have
on
a
the
few
highway.
stories of people dropping it unexpectedly at like the.
On the highway at 80 miles an hour.
PlowClass.
Mike's the best one.
He's got, yeah.
Yeah, reaching for his coffee after plowing. He's got his velcroed up on the dash. There it goes between the seats on the highway.
Where is it? Where is that?
Coffee everywhere and
Yeah.
digging for the controller, shooting sparks.
Fell under the seat.
Not fun. So shut it
It
up.
went through sort of a green and a. Is that when it's trying to make a connection to the controller? So if you to turn it on, you sort of hold it down. Is that right?
Yeah, push and hold.
And so now you've got this green stuff going on.
So here what's going on is it's red and green. It's waiting for you to push the button once to confirm it's actually connected.
Okay.
So go ahead, hit a button. Actually it waited enough. So now it's actually seeing that we're talking to the plow.
Okay.
If that goes red, if I were to like unplug the power, now it's gonna be like, hey, where'd that go?
Oh yeah.
It
Okay.
should
Oh yeah,
Two
really?
seconds.
Okay, that's good.
We got a problem here, right?
Yeah. But to turn it on, you press and hold the power, and to turn it off, you do the same thing, right?
Correct. And that green indicator is just communication talking to the receiver module.
Okay, and does it blink? Is that sort of
Blink
the,
is normal.
That's the blinking thing. Okay. And the red-green means it's just kind of waiting for the next thing to...
Yeah, it only does that when you first start it up, before you hit a button, or if you haven't waited. I didn't realize it when if you just waited, it went to green. But yeah, I've had a few people like, hey, why are you doing red green? Just hit a button.
So that's pretty good safe driving. And then to shut it off, you just hit the power.
Again. And I like it square. You see a lot of guys angling it.
Yeah.
I don't like that. You get low to one corner, you lose sight of it in the cab.
Yeah.
You're a little crooked a bit. They're trying to get some more out of the grill, keep it cool. But also they don't realize they're fighting it in the steering wheel, tearing up the tires.
No, we want to balance, right?
And you square it just visually, it's just by eye.
Yeah, when you're sitting in the truck, you can really see it against the light bar,
Gotcha,
the blade and the light bar, how parallel they are.
Just keep it on B.
Yeah.
Well, B does.
B
lift
does
it,
the height,
lift
but
it.
not the.
but it will not square
angle.
the angle.
Yeah. So that's cool. Okay. Well, this is great. I mean, I think Carl, we're just gonna do the video, review it, and
Put some basic instructions on top.
Yeah.
You can always give me a call if any questions.
Thanks.
I always get a few calls at first going.
Yeah.
I don't mind. I don't mind.
Yeah.
I'd rather give me a call before you're all swearing and aggravated.
Yeah. Well, it seems like scouting practice makes perfect. The more you use it, or the more you do it.
Absolutely, yeah.
But this is a great orientation. We live in a great,
Yeah, right.
right?
Simple little things. Set you up with all the good info. Dielectrical grease for the electrical connections right inside. The electrical comes out, much more for the right out. Like right where the cover is. Right inside of it. Literally right inside of it. For the electrical connection. You don't have to fill it right up. How often do you use it? If there's a floating motor,
So you can use that on those, the trailer things as well? Okay, good. Oh, okay, cool. That's nice.
But a lot of them are not always trying to figure out what's going on. So you can try to do it, so I'm figuring out some instructions, some installation, not
Do you have any rough idea how long this will go for?
40 hours.
Oh, that's absolutely.
I was trying to charge them up as much as I can. But 3 or 4 hours, we can charge it. I don't know if it's if it's really not charging something,
It's going to be 30, below 32. Snow. Yeah, right.
How long do you think it operates for if it's not without a charge? Wow, that's good. I'm listening. Yeah.
truck battery goes dead, and the truck battery goes dead with the plow plugged into it,
Yep.
it can actually suck the memory out of the transmitter receiver. Of course, we unplug the plow all the time and plug it back in, and it still knows there's a keep alive memory on that plow. But when the truck battery goes flat dead, it sucks that keep alive memory out of it. So you got to repair them, and this is so you're not working your neighbor's snow white plow. You've got one too. So they have many frequencies they pair up to. They won't tell us how many, but it's a quick and easy pairing procedure. Basically, you're holding the down pressure button for 10 seconds. Everything starts flashing rapidly. Underneath the black cover of the plow, you got a receiver module where all the wires are coming out of. It's a little computer brain under there. On the face of it, there's two tiny little pins, like almost like little paperclip steel pins sticking out of this module. And you're touching those two pins together while everything's flashing rapidly. And you hit the button one more time, and think, they pair up to each other. You just want to make sure the prongs are no longer touching each other when you've completed that. But three-step process, no easy.
Okay, so that's what. So we actually did have a spare battery. So when you when you change the battery, would you encounter the same? Would you?
No.
Okay, so
only when the vehicle battery goes dead and sucks the memory out of it.
So when the vehicle battery goes dead, sort of while in use, kind of thing.
Well, it's like if you left the light on.
Yeah.
Or if you haven't driven your truck in 2 weeks, it might be flat dead.
Yeah.
With the plow is hooked up. So if you want to prevent this, you would just unplug the power cord of the plow.
Gotcha.
Thank
And you would prevent any happening of that.
Gotcha.
Yes,
Sorry,
Christine?
real quick, we do have to leave at 5 p.m. because they text we have to be there at 5:30. Okay. We
Thanks,
got
Christine.
we got a half hour.
What time
But,
is
you
it
know,
now?
like,
Still,
It's 5 o'clock?
no, it's
no, we
4:30.
have a half
4:30.
hour.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, we're fine.
4:32.
He's been great.
Yeah.
Thanks. We're
Yeah.
getting the yeah.
So yeah, there's YouTube videos. Give me a call. I'll be happy to walk you through it.
This is great.
But leave it in the glove box. That's pretty much the only good information
Cool.
in there.
Yep.
Let me show you this. This is important. Plow's gonna be all the way up, so that's the only thing I don't like about this.
Oh, okay.
So this is for plow stopped working. Had a fluid leak maybe. Plow is not going very slowly or not working at all, not getting up off the ground. You want to try, come see me so I can fix it. Or I don't know, maybe you're going on a long trip and want to make damn sure this plow's not coming down, or maybe you're changing the cutting edge and don't want to cut your head off. You can put this underneath on the lift cylinder and then keep it off the ground. So if you're dead in the water, you got to get it up off the ground somehow. So shove it into a snowbank or use the emergency jack with the truck, or whatever you got to do with 4 guys. Ready? Lift it.
Yeah.
And then stick this in the lift cylinder. So up underneath, get this
Okay.
fit in that lift cylinder.
Sure.
And it just becomes a sandwich in there. And,
Sure. Yeah.
and it doesn't let the blade come down.
Yeah.
See that? You get the pin in, kind of a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
This pin to get in there.
Okay, that makes sense.
Through there, you know, you can get this in there, and then this will hold the plow up.
But you pretty much have to have it all the way up. Is that?
Yeah, that's what I don't like about it,
Yeah.
to even fit in there.
Yeah.
So some guys want to run this more often because they're paranoid the plow's going to come down.
Yeah.
I trust the plow.
Yeah.
Been here 16 years, I haven't seen them falling down on their own.
Yeah.
If very rare, but possible, the valve is hanging open slightly and
Yeah.
it's creeping down very slowly.
Yeah.
That's like from here to Concord, it went down 2 inches.
Yeah.
So it's not going to like just drop out of the sky and scare you to death.
Right.
So I trust the plow to stay up on its own. Reading the manual, I'm sure they tell you to put this in all the time on the roof.
Yeah. That's okay.
What I've done for guys that want to run this more often is you take about 1 inch off the length of this.
Yeah.
Almost right to the chamfer here.
Yeah.
And you just zip about 3/4 of an inch off this.
Yeah.
And it becomes easy to get in there. Blade comes down a little bit.
Still guarantees you're not going to drop it completely, but
Yeah. Exactly. So keep this in the glove box.
Good.
You don't want it if you don't have it.
Good.
If you don't have it, you're trying to strap it to the light bar, which works until you hit a few bumps, and it bends the light bar down.
Yeah.
Our light bar is only designed to hold the lights. No lifting is done up there.
So what you tell us then? We'll drop it, and I'm thinking, and then we'll just do the V. And that's pretty much locked in, and just shut it off.
You know maintenance? Like, handy kind of guy?
Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, between us and
Pretty simple stuff.
you know, we get a son who sort of is. He would have been here if he could have been here, but
Cool.
she's his
He would
stand-in.
love it.
So
And I,
Yeah.
he would. They would have loved to have been here.
Well,
Yeah.
anyone can give me a call if they have any
Yeah,
questions.
thanks. Thank you.
We do like $160. There's a full tune-up service, check over, however you want to call it.
Yeah.
Pre-season, after season,
That's good to know.
whenever you want to do it.
Yeah.
Some folks will actually, somebody sitting here from last year,
They kind of garage.
they'll use us for storage. you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Whatever you want to do, I would hope you take better care of it than just
Yeah.
leave it here. But,
Yeah.
yeah, so of course we'll do them. Fluid, you want to change the fluid every couple of years or so if you're just doing your own place. Commercial guy every year.
Yeah.
You worry about water condensation in there, breathing, letting air in and out. So eventually you get water displaced from oil, and the water's at the bottom, like where the pump is picking up the fluid. So occasionally you get that wicked cold night that the water can actually freeze. And yeah, and now you got a slushy slurry down there where the pump's picking up, and it starts up the fluid, acts like a flowing fluid. Starts whining, gets louder, plows slow. It just gets these icicles stuck to the bottom.
And so at that point, Carl, it's basically just you're listening by your ears, your senses. There's nothing that this thing's going to
Yeah,
tell you.
you ever had
that-
low power steering in your car?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you start to.
It gets harder to turn,
Yeah.
and it makes that noise, right? Same
Yeah.
thing. The plow slows down. You really see it not going up as fast, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. And it whines a little bit louder, and you get these.
Yeah.
You get the ear
And
to
it's
it.
basically the hydraulic fluids. Is there any oils
Exactly
or
the same.
anything else that's in there?
Any type of plow fluid, doesn't have to be Snowway brand.
Yeah.
Fisher fluids all over the place. Donovan Springs are open 8 days a week.
Yeah.
Any auto parts store will carry normally plow fluid of some kind. Generic brands don't matter, not going to void warranty.
Yeah.
Colors don't matter.
Yeah.
It's just real thin, the plow fluid. It just stays real thin in the cold weather.
Yeah.
For the high-speed pumps, it doesn't foam up as bad. The transmission fluid was used a long time, but it thickens up in the cold weather and it foams up. So they don't like it in the plows. You can use it. That's all you got. You get a small leak or something. You can put some ATF in here. It's $2 a quart at any AutoZone.
And when you drain it out, it just pretty much drains it. Do you run the pump while you're draining it, or does it
you
just
can.
gravity?
These pumps are awesome.
Is that basically what's under the hood here?
There's a lot of stuff under the hood there.
Yeah.
But so you got electric motor, hydraulic tank. The pump is inside the tank. Of course, the tank's got all kind of fluid in it. And sitting on top of all that is the big valve body, which has got all the electronic valves that work in all directions. Underneath the cover is a nice schematic of what wire does what valve does what. If you ever lose a function, so everything works but no left.
Yeah.
Pop this cover off,
Yeah.
you're probably going to see one of these wires that popped off.
Yeah.
You can confirm it. Yeah, this wire's red and it goes to, that's the left one.
Uh-huh.
Plug it back on.
Uh-huh.
That's the only problem you see with these things. A
Something
wire
comes
has
loose.
popped one off.
Because you've been banging.
And that's just nature of the beast. They just
Yeah, bang.
eventually,
Yeah.
10 years down the road or something, those wires become a little bit loose and they slide off the valve.
Yeah.
But yeah, nice schematic under there. Tells you what's what. Fill line on the fluid tank, so you'll check the fluid with it down. And the angle doesn't matter really, but it's got a nice little sticker on there for the fill line.
How often would you check it?
It's not burning it. It's not like an engine. It's not burning it.
Yeah.
The fluid is bright blue.
Yeah.
You should see it,
You can see it first leak.
and it's like a 2,000 pounds of pressure. If you got a leak, it's
It's
spraying out of there good. Or it's it's pouring out from underneath the cover somewhere. Yeah, but because of the high pressure, I'll tell you the most common is over here on the right side because getting this hose pushed upward loosens it.
Yeah.
I do see this one loosen. Because if you're pushing this one thing hard enough.
Yeah. And for the installation, do you have to do much? I mean, did it feed through? Do you drill holes through the front?
Yeah, didn't notice?
Well, I didn't look closely, but no.
I did cut your bumper.
It looks clean.
Yeah, so we do a little cut underneath where the tow hooks work, and I just push up the center section, so it's still there. But
Is there welding involved, or is it
no,
strictly
not at all.
bolts?
It's bolted to the truck.
Do you have to drill the frame to get the bolts
There
in?
are a few holes to drill.
Yeah.
But half of them are there.
And then the battery connection, is there anything fancy about the
Not really. It goes directly to the battery.
Can we just take a quick peek at that?
Yep. It's nice to know what's what. So I put it front and center here for you. So you can actually see it all.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah,
Nice-
beautiful.
Nice and
Yeah,
wide open,
yeah,
but
yeah.
pretty simple.
Yeah.
Big power cord ends up coming up here. Big
Cool.
fuse.
Yeah.
I think I've seen only one, 16 years, one of these fuses blow.
Yeah.
The motor had been submerged completely in water.
Oh.
Yeah.
And rotted. Like it
Yeah,
was in a
it's bad.
basement. It was some kind of basement. I guess he could drive and drop his plow in. But so it takes a significant. You
Yeah.
have to cut that cable or
Yeah.
have a completely kaput motor to blow that fuse. So I
Yeah.
haven't seen it. So, but directly to the battery, power and ground. It's important that these negative cables go through this the sensor here.
Yeah.
So in case you ever change your battery or whatever, that's
Yeah.
important
Yeah.
on this truck.
So to change the battery, all you got to literally do is,
You would be here
Yeah.
instead of here. So you would just loosen the terminals here and some other thing over here.
you loosen those guys. So you just basically loosen those guys.
Yeah, the plow's over here.
Yeah.
So. You won't have to muffle that.
So this loosens the bracket around that.
Correct.
Okay, so that's
Just all you're going to be doing.
That's good. Cool. That's good to know. What else, Lynn? Can you think of anything else? Thanks for showing us that.
No problem. And the lighting goes. That's the other harness back here, and that goes to the back of the headlights, and all that can be removed.
So you pop out the headlights, but there's nothing. If like these lights go out, it's just the usual bulb stuff.
So
or
yes,
do
the
you-
plow harness can cause problems with the truck lights. I mean, it can happen. So
Yeah.
if that's not plugged into each other,
Yeah.
that's the first thing.
Yeah.
But if we have any wiring issue, I've seen people forget to unplug them,
Yeah.
and rip them and have wires coming out and that kind of thing. That can create
Plug,
a headlight
plug, yeah.
problem. So
Yeah.
what you could do, I don't know. I hope you come see me for all your inspections and oil
For sure.
changes.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
But
yeah.
I mean, so what can happen? I've seen happen is maybe there's damage down there causing your headlights not work. Okay, and you're failing inspection now. I need my headlights to work.
Yeah.
You can reconnect the headlight back to factory. So what we do for the headlights is it unplugs from your headlight, plugs into my plow harness,
Yeah.
and my plow harness plugs into your headlight. You just undo it, plugging your truck back into your
Yeah.
headlight
Yeah.
to get your headlight working normally again. But the plow would not work then.
Yeah.
But at least you would pass your inspection.
That's cool. Good. Okay.
But yeah, very simple.
Yeah. This is awesome. You've been
Can all-
terrific.
Gonna love this.
Can all come out.
Yeah.
Nothing is permanent. It can all come undone if you were to get rid
Yeah.
of the truck.